It's a good question because I think you kind of have to be a bit of both. Because without the specialist knowledge, it's difficult to drill into the real issue to hand. But at the same time, you always have to maintain an overview, because architects who get completely focused in on detail often tend to miss out on what the real point is. And so it's a totally valid question, but I'd be really interested to hear what other architects have answered that question as, because I think it's a bit of both, and I don't think you can separate one out from the other.
I think all architects need to be generalists. I mean, we can be working in a closed-order convent, a nightclub, or a distillery, all in the same week. I think that makes us as generalists.
We don't study in specialisms, and it's funny because people always ask me when I say I do architecture, oh, so what do you specialise in? Do you do? You know, they think it's like medicine, where you're training towards, you know, being a GP or being a surgeon, and actually architects don't practice in that way, I don't think.
All the manuals tell you that you should find your own specialism, your own niche, but up here I think it's just not possible to do that. You've got to be a generalist, you've got to be able to do everything and do it well, and you know, if you've been in practice for quite a while, you've got that depth of experience to fall back on. Here's what we did before, these are the issues that we faced, and you know, this is how we got around the issues, and so on like that. So much as I would like to be a specialist that everybody came to for one particular reason, I don't think we could do that, or we could focus that much on it.
I think you need to be a bit of both. I think you need, as a generalist, you need to understand kind of the building regs, you need to understand where your place is within the design team. But then I suppose you need to bring your area of specialisation to that to make the project a bit interesting, and to make, I suppose, to bring your inspiration to the project as well. So I suppose each architect would pick their area of specialisation and zone in on that, and become obsessive, compulsive about different areas.
The volume work doesn't exist in Ireland, I think, really, where a practice can specialise in one sector only and just survive in that. Some say, I mean, there's evidence in the time of the bus, but some practices were just had all their eggs in one basket in residential, and obviously suffered as a result of that. So specialisation is fine, but you've got to be extremely careful of it.
I think I would be a generalist. The difficulty is you want to learn lots about everything, and I know that'll limit your ability to be. You can't be good at all of that, but particular interest in low energy, particular interest in urban design, and the conservation end on.
In a rural area, I think you have to be a general practitioner. You have to be able to adapt, and you know, your service. Maybe in a busier practice you could specialise, but not in a rural practice. No, I'm a general practitioner.
Most architects would prefer to be generalists, because an architect takes on the challenge of the client's requirements, and you put your building to that. I think if you're a specialist, you're inclined to be repeating yourself in the same work. Now, there's an argument for both sides. I mean, if you take, we'll say, hospital work, that is so complex that you nearly need to be a specialist to be doing it. But as an architect, if you're a designer, you believe you can design anything.
We could not do what we are currently doing in residential, healthcare, education, and commercial office. We could not, and student housing, if you add those five, we couldn't be doing that if we didn't have people who are experts in those fields, because you won't get a job in the private sector or the public sector unless you've got real expertise.
I would consider myself a specialist. We do an awful lot of work in housing, and housing itself is a very broad area. You would have low density housing of, say, 2 and 3 stories, high density development, student housing, kind of lots of different specialities within the speciality, in fact. And I would be, I suppose, an advocate of speciality. I think it helps us deliver a better quality architecture in the end, because you're more familiar with the ins and outs of everything to do with the area.